Jessica Alba is getting divorced. An almost 17-year marriage, 3 kids, $1 billion business, and she's starting over. Let's be honest, it's heartbreaking. But also, it's empowering. Because starting over, as hard as it can also be the best thing that we ever do for ourselves, especially as women. So today we're diving into Jessica's journey and what it teaches us about resilience and confidence and putting ourselves first. So here's the backstory. Jessica Alba met Cash on the set of The Fantastic Four in 2004. He wasn't some Hollywood A-lister, he was a production assistant. They fell in love, got married in 2008, and had 3 beautiful kids. From the outside, it looked like the dream life. But if you've followed Jessica over the years, you know that she's been, let's say, honest about the struggles. She's joked about their marital issues in interviews, and even admitted that just 2.5 years into their marriage, it felt like they were roommates. The media really took to her labeling her marriage as a roommate situation because of what an icon she is. The public couldn't believe how little romance was really involved in her life. Things are going to slow down at certain points and feel like they're more drifting. You feel like maybe there's something wrong, but maybe this is just the way it's supposed to be, and if there's a problem, you'll fix it. You think it's not that bad. But when does not that bad become too much? That's the $1 million question. With that answered, we could flow from one phase of life to another, but that is not the way it usually goes for most of us. It's more of a bumpy ride because it's hard to tell these things. Jessica stayed in the relationship even though she was talking so much about how much trouble she was having. She looked absolutely miserable and just grim and lifeless when she was talking about her marriage. You can watch her in interviews. She just has no expression on her face. And yet we can all relate to that. There's been, if not a relationship, a job that we've stayed in, a friendship we've stayed in where we've been lifeless and felt like it's going nowhere. I think there's a lot of signs that Jessica had a low self-esteem, as so many women do in their 20s and 30s, in how she wasn't so animated and in herself, in her true, authentic self. And when your self-esteem is low, you doubt your instincts, you don't make decisions, you don't feel confident enough to leave. You settle for good enough and convince yourself that change isn't possible, even when you're a Hollywood celebrity like Jessica with any options she could have. But I really think Jessica is an evolving woman and increasing her self-esteem, and that this divorce is really her turning a new page for a brighter future. As horrible as this is, breaking up a family and divorcing after you've gotten through almost 17 years of marriage. In those last 17 years, though, she has expanded her career, built the Honest Company, which is a passion project of hers, built so many connections with people. She's built a very strong foundation for herself. And this is such an important thing and smart thing to do for women because, look, there's many facets of life and we're all going to have a weakness, and we could all have one area of our life collapse at some point. She's shown amazing work ethic towards her company, the Honest Company, and she's changed the country by creating more natural offerings to people across the country in mainstream stores at low prices. Her marriage might have been suffering. She might have been dealing with trauma that didn't let her get out of her marriage in time, but she was doing what she could. And I think when we have trauma, we have CPTSD, we do have certain limitations, but when we maximize what we are doing, that is sometimes just the best we can do and good to do to support us in our future. She's been open about being sexualized as a young actress, which really hurt her. It somewhat seemed to shape her self-worth and the way she sees relationships. She didn't know how she related to her own body. Meanwhile, the public was sexualizing her as a young girl who didn't even feel like she was settled in her sexuality and body yet. And she said it wasn't until she was a mom to well into her motherhood that she finally felt her body and felt confident and secure in herself. And that was years after she had begun to be sexualized. It seems like maybe, and this isn't a fact, but that she prioritized comfort and safety over passion and authenticity. That's what trauma does. It makes us play small and do what feels safe. When we sacrifice what we really want and really having fun and enjoying life over long periods of time, it can be a really detrimental sacrifice to make that can really harm our well-being and mental health. That's also known as a state of survival, when we're just doing what's needed to stay alive. But the amazing thing about Jessica is that she didn't stay small forever. It looks like, at least from the media, that she really built herself up while she was in this terrible marriage, while she was dealing with this trauma of being sexualized by the entire world. Can you imagine that? She was building her confidence. And I think that that has really contributed to her being able to make this decision for herself to get separated, a decision that's authentic to her, because she now trusts herself and trusts the outcome of what's going to happen. Even though this is a horrible thing to have to happen, she trusts herself in starting over, that she's going to create something good from here. She's confident in her role as a mom. She's confident in her role as a company owner of Honest Company, or maybe she sold it. She's confident in that she's helping the country to get natural products from the Honest Company at low prices. Having confidence in many different areas of our life can really help to build up our identity, build up our self-confidence. Confidence doesn't just happen. It's built through small wins, like starting a business or learning to set boundaries. It's built through healing, through confronting parts of ourselves that feel broken and choosing to love them anyway. Jessica found her confidence step by step by doing the work every day over the years. And that's why when it came time to think about leaving a marriage that no longer served her, she could trust herself and know that she could handle it. But now is the time to start building our confidence, even if you're not in the job you want, not in the relationship you want. And then you get the confidence, and then that is the unlock for starting over and having success. But it's not having success and then confidence, it's confidence then having success. It's what gives you the courage to trust yourself, to make the right decisions, and to move forward even when it's terrifying. Because let's be real, starting over is scary. Whether it's leaving a relationship, changing careers, or just admitting to yourself that you're unhappy. It takes guts, but here's the truth. When you focus on building your confidence, everything else falls into place. And you can start building your confidence anytime, anywhere, even when your life feels like a chaotic mess. Jessica didn't leave her marriage on a whim. She left when she knew that she had done the work. She trusted herself, and she had built a strong foundation, a billion-dollar company, a strong sense of identity and self-worth, and the knowing that she was worth more. And so are you. Confidence isn't just about standing tall or speaking loudly. And one Amy Cuddy book about confident poses isn't necessarily gonna completely change our life. It's about taking the time to really know who you are in terms of all of the different parts of yourself, and trusting your decisions and believing that you can handle whatever comes next. So let me know in the comments, how are you building your confidence? What's one thing you've done recently to invest in yourself? Because remember, when you invest in your self-esteem, you're setting yourself up for a life that feels right to you, no matter what comes your way. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe if you want to see more.